Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Today we are going live and we are talking about Arne Slot getting fired, possibly, if he loses the match against Galatasaray. We're also talking about Max Dauman, the expert young star that's coming up, the Arsenal youngster coming up once again. And then we're also talking about Bruno Fernandes being the best player on earth. And then finally, the Champions League, if there is a way back possibly for the Champions League teams that have not performed so well in the in the league. Now, let's start with a review of what happened in the weekend. Let's start with the match of Aston Villa versus Manchester United. Now, the match was a very interesting match, right? Very, very interesting in the sense that it showed, I think, that Carrick is not really ready yet for the first team job at Manchester United, right? Let's talk about the first half. The first half, it was very boring, very bland. Nothing exciting happened at all. And so it was very mind-boggling. Like when I saw the starting lineup, I was extremely excited, right? Extremely excited. Why? Because you could see the fact that he dropped Cunha. Sorry, dropped what's his face? Sheshko, right? And started Buemo up front, showed me that possibly, that the manager has got some guts, right? He's got some guts. But then the whole match, you see them crossing the ball all the time. And so to me, it indicated that, that the tactics were incongruent with actual play, right? And so you have to convince me, how can Carrick be the manager for Man United going forward, right? If his tactics don't line up with the way that the first team plays. It's mind-boggling to me. And so let's take a look at the startup, and maybe let's do the player ratings from the goalkeeper up. Sonny Lermans, for instance, had a very good game. He wasn't really tested. The goal wasn't his fault at all. I think that goal should have been disallowed, by the way. Right? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. But that goal should have been disallowed, right? You got the player standing, like you got Morgan Rogers standing offside right in front of the keeper. The keeper couldn't see anything. And the ball probably brushed, I think it was Tammy Abrams, right? He probably brushed him just slightly. And so, tell me why that isn't given offside. Tell me why that isn't given offside. The amount of times that the VAR has acted against Man United is just shocking. It's shocking to me. Absolutely shocking to me. I don't understand what's happening with VAR. I don't know why it's always against Manchester United. Tammy Abrams is standing in an offside position. He's blocking the keeper. The ball, fine, maybe it doesn't hit him, but it's like literally a millimeter from him, right? So surely if it's a millimeter from the guy, right, and he's in front of the goalkeeper, then does it really matter whether it strikes him or not? It's the same, isn't it? It's the same. It's offside. So for me, that goal should have been offside. It should have been not given. And then even earlier in the move, there was a handball. But anyway, getting back to the first half of the match. The first half of the match was very uninspiring, right? In the fact that Man United were moving the ball very slowly. We didn't seem to have a plan of how to attack the opposition. We were very circumspect in what we were doing. And so for me, it showed like the manager couldn't motivate the players, because it seems like, really, if we just be honest with ourselves here, it seems like only actually the match against Arsenal and Man City were Man United players motivated. The amount of times I saw Kobe Mainoo and Ahmad walking. Why are they walking? They've been off for 2 or 3 weeks, right? Why are they walking? Can somebody tell me why they're walking? So I never understood. And that, for me, that indicates that Carrick is not the man for the job, because if he can't motivate his players to be invigorated, right? The amount of times I saw, for instance, Ahmad giving the ball away, right? And then, like to McGinn, for instance, and then McGinn just running right past him to the penalty box, right? It was just shocking, right? Shocking. They give the ball away. They put up their hands. Oh, my goodness. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I shouldn't. It was a mistake. But then you're standing still. You're not doing anything. You're not moving. You're not tracking back. And so for me, it's like mind-boggling. Why aren't the Man United players running? Why aren't they putting the effort? But anyway, it was an okay game. The results were good. The first half, again, as I said, was very boring. The players were walking. Second half becomes more exciting because we score goals. I mean, the corner from Casemiro, very good corner, very good assist from Bruno Fernandes. He seems to be the assist king this season. He seems not to be stopping. From there, we only looked like one team was going to win, but then by that fluke as well, I think the disallowed goal, Aston Villa then equalized. After they equalize, right, they had a moment of dominance, in the game where it looked like they were going to score. But we then recovered, scored through a beautiful assist by Bruno Fernandes into Cunha, and that's all she wrote, folks. Now, hi Jonathan, how you doing, man? Good to see you, bro. Now, the performance aside, right? Results are the thing that matters the most at this stage of the season. That's all that matters, really. We just need to win because we need to get in the Champions League because the financial outlay will be staggering, right? We're going to get money from Højlund in the summer. We're going to get money from Rashford in the summer. We're going to get some money from Anthony in the summer. And we're probably going to get money from Greenwood in the summer, right? And if we add all that up, plus the Champions League revenue, right? That's 200 million dollars, pounds coming into the coffer, which then allows us then, right, to buy more players and to outfit that midfield. Because for the summer, Manchester United needs midfielders, and we need loads of them, by the way, right? Not just one or two, but we need like three, maybe, right? Because if Casemiro goes, right, Ugarte goes, only Kobe Mainoo will be left in there, right? Maybe, and who else can play? So we need a combination of midfielders in there. So for me, the match, to give it a summary, the match was okay. The second half was good to watch. First half was very, very frustrating. I was shouting at the TV screen constantly. Ask my brother, Jonathan will know, right? Constantly shouting at the TV screen. Frustrating to see Ahmad walking, Kobe walking, Luke Shaw walking, not really concerned with the defending part. At times, like the majority of the game, you saw Bruno was the last man when Mbeumo was behind Bruno, which make sense to me, right? Why would Bruno be ahead of Mbeumo? Who's gonna, it should have been Bruno passing the ball in behind the defense to Aston Villa, but that didn't. But anyway, the result is what matters because Chelsea lost and Liverpool drew. Aston Villa obviously lost to us, so that gives us a very comfortable position going into the future, right? Now onto the headlines. Arne Slot is to be fired. Arne Slot, if you don't know, is the Liverpool manager. Last season, he won the league, and he won the league comfortably, right? But a lot of people are wondering, was that Arne Slot's credit, or did that win belong to Klopp, right? All those players were bought by Klopp. So Bostola was bought by Klopp, McAllister was bought by Klopp, Gravenberch was bought by Klopp. That whole team that won, Salah, Gakpo, all of the players were bought by Klopp, by Jurgen Klopp. And so one can argue quite nicely, right, that title, even the way that they played, it all belonged to what? To Jurgen Klopp, right? And so Slot really didn't do much managing coming into the new season. And credit to him, right? Because it shows a bit of smarts for you to not change anything, right? When you don't need to change anything. He didn't need to change anything. And so he took advantage of the situation. He won himself a league title. But now, where does the credit lie? Where does the what do you call it? The cachet, right? Excuse me. Where does the the credit lie, right? The credit lies with Klopp, right? And so Slot is not going to get much credit this season. They are fifth. They're behind Manchester United. Manchester United have fired a manager. They fired a manager, and yet they're above Liverpool, and they're 5 points behind Manchester United, which is a disaster for Liverpool, right? Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson have all looked very, 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 very bad, right? So it seems like they're not developing. It seems like they should have been out of the club. His signings, he bought Ekitike. Ekitike has looked very good. He bought Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz has not looked like the Florian Wirtz that was a Bayer Leverkusen. One wonders what's happened to him. You've got Frimpong, who was touted as one of the best right backs, wing backs in Europe. Now looks a shadow of himself. He bought Isak. We haven't seen Isak. He's been injured. I guess that's not his fault. But Isak has always had injury problems. One wonders why they spend so much money on him. They failed to buy a midfielder, which they need, because McAllister, Gravenberch just are not pulling their weight. You got the back. You got Van Dijk and Konate and Gomez. Sometimes you need a centre back. So it hasn't gone well for Slot this season, right? It hasn't gone well for him. And so the rumors are coming out of England, right, that if he fails to win against Galatasaray, then either he's going to get fired immediately, or they're going to wait until the end of the season and then bring in Xavi Alonso or whomever else they might look to bring in, right? They might be put off a bit with Xavi Alonso because Xavi Alonso likes to play a back three. And, the back three is not very popular nowadays in England, right? Ruben Amorim. And so what do you think? Do you think that Slot has enough credit in the bank to be able to survive this? Or is it vital that he beats Galatasaray? But even then, what is the point of beating Galatasaray? Because they have nothing to play for the rest of the season. So even if Slot beats Galatasaray, right, and he loses the next round, what is the point of that? What is there to be gained? And so for me, I think that they should just cut the losses short. It should be fired at the end of the season, and they should get a proper manager, whomever that may be. I mean, Steven Gerrard is doing well in Saudi Arabia. I would love to see Steven Gerrard coaching Liverpool. That would be hilarious. Lol, right? So Slot leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. Let me know what you think. Bruno Fernandes is the best player on the planet. Simple and clear. There's no one close to him, right? I was looking at a stat recently. There are very few players who've created 5 chances or more in a single game this season, right? Bruno Fernandes, of course, is at the top of that, like creating 5 or more clear goal-scoring chances that the opposition misses, right? Bruno Fernandes is at the top of that. He's done it 12 times. No, get that. 12 times. Bruno Fernandes has done it 12 times. The next people below Bruno Fernandes are Cherki and Longstaff, and they've only done it twice. Twice. That in itself is already amazing for Sean Longstaff and Cherki, right? That they've actually done it twice. But Bruno Fernandes has done it 12 times. And let's not forget, right, that he played 21 games under Ruben Amorim. 21 games. 21 games where he was playing in a deeper lying midfield role, right? He didn't get a chance to attack as much. He wasn't providing he didn't get the opportunity to be right on the penalty box where like De Bruyne, Cherki, and all the guys operate on. He was a deep lying midfielder. And still, he created 5 or more chances 12 times. Come on, guys. 12 times. That is spectacular. How is he not the best player on earth, Bruno Fernandes? Can you tell me who is better than him right now, right? Look at Real Madrid. They beat Man City 3-0. 3-0, right? Without Mbappe, who people call the best player in the world. Bayern Munich beats Atalanta 6-2 without their best player, Harry Kane. Man City beats teams all the time with Haaland on the bench. Tell me, where would Manchester United be without Bruno Fernandes? Where would they be? They'd be nowhere. That is the answer. Probably in the same position that Tottenham is at the moment. And so for me, he's clearly the most valuable player for any team, right? He's the most valuable player for any team in the world. Without Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United is nothing. And remember, Manchester United is actually now 3rd in the Premiership, right? The toughest league in the world. They are 3rd in that league. So that shows you that he's a valuable player, right? That's number 1. Number 2, he creates chances. He's at the top of the chance creation charts every single season. Every single season he's been a Man United. He's either been 1st or 2nd in terms of creating chances, right? That's number 2. He scores goals. Every season you can count on Bruno Fernandes to score at least 10 goals or more every single season. That's number 3, right? And then, of course, the assists. He's now on 16 assists, right? Surpassing David Beckham, Sir David Beckham, right? And he's on line. He's in line to defeat Thierry Henry and Kevin De Bruyne of 20 assists in a season. He's only 4 assists away, and there's 8 games left, right? So he's obviously going to beat that record. Imagine what that looks like. Thierry Henry is a striker, a standalone striker, right? All he had to do for Arsenal was just bang goals, score goals. He didn't have anything else to do, right? He wasn't doing any defending. Kevin De Bruyne, if we're just being honest, Kevin De Bruyne had very little defending that he did. Very little defending that he did. He was really just an offensive player for Man City, right? So you got Kevin De Bruyne, Thierry Henry, who've got the record, right? Of scoring the most goals, of assisting the most assists in the Premier League. And you got little old Bruno Fernandes, right? He playing 21 games, as I said before, playing a deep line midfielder. And then even now, he is tasked with, he's the captain, he has to defend, he leads the press, and still he's ahead in terms of assists, the let alone goals that he scores for Man United. I mean, he is phenomenal. He is by far the best player on earth right now. He is. He simply is. Because Barcelona can survive without Lamine Yamal. They really can. Take Lamine Yamal out of Barcelona, they're okay, right? Take Mbappe out of Real Madrid, they're okay. Take Harry Kane or even Olise out of Bayern Munich, they're okay. Take Haaland or Doku or their best player, Semenyo, out of Man City, they're okay, right? I mean, let's just be honest here. Bruno Fernandes is the best player on earth. And I think he is so disrespected. I mean, all of you guys have seen online how many memes, how many videos there are, especially those shorts, super shorts, where you have Arsenal fans saying things like that Bruno Fernandes wouldn't make it into the Arsenal squad right now. He wouldn't be starting for Arsenal. Bruno Fernandes couldn't start for Arsenal. I mean, come on, man. Let us be realistic and be honest here. Bruno Fernandes couldn't start for Arsenal. Come on, man. Okay, you got Bruno Fernandes, right? Right now, he's got 16 assists? Something like that. How many has Odegaard got this season? How many has Eze got this season? I mean, if Eze doesn't play against Tottenham, how many assists and goals does he have? Like nothing, right? And you got Odegaard, who's been on and off from the bench. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Arsenal is a good team. They're winning the league. You know, Corner FC probably deserve to win the league. They've been the most consistent team. However, in terms of actual player for player, Bruno Fernandes, I put him up against any player in the Arsenal team, including Declan Rice, by the way, who is probably going to win PFA Player of the Season, probably, because he's English and people love him, you know, but they love to hate on Bruno Fernandes, right? Tell me what Bruno Fernandes is weak at. He works hard. He tackles well. I mean, he's not a tackler, but he does tackle well. He works hard. He runs more than anybody else. He scores more goals than anybody else. He scores assists more than anybody else. I mean, he's amazing. And so for me, he's by far the best player on earth right now. Nobody comes close. Nobody comes close, right? So you got Bruno Fernandes, best player in the Premier League, I think, in the world, right? Let's talk about Max Daumann. What a player. My goodness, what a player. He is a young player from the conveyor belt of Arsenal. Now, that guy has broken a lot of records, right? A lot of records. He was the youngest player in the under-18s, right? He debuted for the Arsenal under-18s when he was just 13 years old, for goodness sake. 13 years old, right? He then debuted for the Arsenal under-21s when he was just 14 years old, becoming the youngest player to play for the under-21s, right? He was the youngest player to score in the UEFA Youth League the Champions League for the youth. Youngest player to score for them, Max Daumann, right? He is phenomenal. He scored he is phenomenal. Like, Arsenal wanted to play him earlier, but they couldn't, right? They couldn't because he was too young. He was stopped by the laws of England because they don't allow 15-year-olds or 14-year-olds to play for the first team. But he was in line he started training with the first team when he was 14 and 15 years old, training with the first team at Arsenal. And by the way, a very good Arsenal team, by the way, that's been finishing second to Liverpool or Man City all this time. So it's not like he was going into some weak team. He was going to a strong team, right? What a player. What a future he has. However, look, there has been a long line of other players that are his age that have done well. Maybe not his age specifically, but Theo Walcott via Southampton was another youth prospect, right? That really didn't live up to his hype and all that we thought he was going to live up to, right? Theo Walcott. He really didn't get up. He really didn't live up to his hype, right? From Theo Walcott, you got Jack Wilshere. Again, I think that his just injuries killed that guy, man. He was so talented, but again, he didn't live up to the hype, right? You got Ramsey from us. I'm talking about Arsenal players here. You got Ramsey, right? Again, he started playing when he was 16 or something, right? But again, he didn't live up to the hype. Again, injuries really, really killed him. You got Cesc Fabregas. Although Cesc Fabregas did actually live up to the hype, did he not? Right? He was amazing. He won a World Cup. He won multiple Champions Leagues. He became an absolute legend of football. But unfortunately, it wasn't for Arsenal. It was for Barcelona. But that's belying the point, right? He still was a very good player, right? So you've got Cesc Fabregas. You got being one of the only ones. Who else? Which are the youth Arsenal players are there? Then you've got the Iwobi, highly rated, didn't turn out to be. He turned out to be a good professional, but not like a superstar as people thought he was going to be. You've got people like the guy who's at Fulham right now. What's his name? The guy who's at Fulham. You guys know him. The guy who's at Fulham. He was going to be such a great player, number 10 as well, but he didn't turn out to be anything great. You've got Willock, the guy who was at Newcastle, again, was a good prospect at Arsenal, but didn't turn out to be quite at the level. Although Max Amon, you say he's probably at the level of Fabregas and them guys, that level, right? And so let's compare him to those people. So I think he does have a good future ahead of him. I think that Arteta is good at managing him. His mentor in the academy was Jack Wilshere. So Jack Wilshere probably would apparently they talk all the time still. So it seems like he does have some sort of like foundation that can stand him in good stead in going forward. So let me know, guys, do you think that he's going to be an amazing player, or do you think he's going to be, just turn out like maybe like Theo Walcott? Casemiro, World Cup winner Casemiro, the Manchester United maestro midfield. After the game, right, they were singing what? One more year, Casemiro. One more year, I say no, right? Casemiro has been excellent for us, for Manchester United, by the way. Excellent player, right? When he's been on the pitch, Manchester United have conceded one goal every 111 minutes. When he's been off the pitch, Manchester United have conceded something like one goal every 30 minutes. So Casemiro has been a beast for us. He's been amazing for us. But I think that this is his last sort of like hurrah, last salvo, last just like, look, this is my last go around. And Manchester United paid him a phenomenal amount of money. I think they invested in like 130, 140 million pounds into Casemiro, right? And so for me, I think it's a wonderful send-off. Let's not tempt fate by bringing him back. I mean, there are players at Manchester United that overstayed the welcome. Zlatan, I think, left too late. I think Ronaldo, we shouldn't have come back for the second stint. I think Rooney stayed there for a little bit too long. I think Van Persie also stayed for a little bit too long. So it then becomes a bit sour, right? It becomes a bit sour. We don't remember them in the pomp and in how fantastic they were. We never really got the best of Casemiro. His best was always at Real Madrid. But I do like what he brings to the squad, right? He brings a maturity, he brings a determination. You can see it in his eyes that he's determined, right? He is determined, as my teacher used to say, to perform well for Manchester United in his last swan song, right? So I think let's not kill that dream. Casemiro must go. But I think also he's been excellent, right? Also because of the World Cup is coming up. There's a World Cup coming up, folks, right? So don't get confused by that. That's why he's looking a bit leaner. He's looking a bit fitter. He's looking a bit, a bit more slim, right? Because the World Cup is coming up. He wants to perform well for the World Cup. And at 36, it'll probably be his last World Cup coming up, right? Last World Cup coming up. So I think that although Casemiro has been a legend for us, he scored 7 goals, 3 assists, right? More than anybody else, right? If you look at the list of all the guys that are comparable, right? You've got, I think Gravenberch, he's got like what? He's got like 1 goal or something, right? This season. You got Rodri. Rodri's got 1 goal, 0 assists. You've got the guy at Arsenal, Zubimendi. I think he's got 5 goals and 2 assists, I think, right? And then you've got Caicedo, who's got 4 goals and 3 assists. So they are comparable, but Casemiro is at the top of all of them, right? And by the way, he's significantly older than all of them. Significantly older than all of them. And yet look at how he's performing. He's a threat in the air, in both boxes, either in defense or attack. He's amazing, right? And so Casemiro, I think that he's the man, right? But I think that his time is up. I think he should move forward. And so that brings us a question. Who can replace Casemiro? So there have been a lot of names up in the air. Loads of names up in the air. You've got Elliot Anderson, right? Who plays for Nottingham Forest. and he's been touted as the favorite to come to Manchester United. The Manchester United board are very happy with Elliot Anderson. But let's be honest here, he's a Manchester United fan. His brother has come out and said that, look, he looks like he likes to go to Man City. So I don't see the point of buying Anderson at all, because you want players that want to come to United. Look at Cunha. Look at Mbeumo, right? Look at Sesko. Look at the passion that they have for the club. Such passion, right? It comes from the fact that they want to play for Manchester United. I think gone are the days where we have to scrape the bottom of a barrel and beg players, beg Ronaldo to come back to Manchester United, beg Casemiro, beg Varane, beg Cavani, beg Zlatan. We have to beg those players to come to United. And, beg Sancho was not really that enthusiastic about coming to Manchester United. He wanted to come, we gave him good money, but he wasn't like a die-hard Manchester United fan. He wasn't like dying to come to Manchester United. And so you can see it reflected in the performance, right? I mean, Sancho apparently in his first meeting with Solskjaer said that if you think that you signed a player on the right, then you've got something wrong with you. That's literally what he said in his first meeting with Solskjaer, that he just wanted to play on the left. Sancho. And so for me, I don't think that you should buy players that don't want to play for the club. They're not desperate to play for the club. And so Anderson, for me, goes off the list. No Anderson. Baleba is the guy that I would go for. Baleba is strong. He's got a good enough pass. I mean, he's not like a passing maestro like Anderson is, right? But he's got good enough pass. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He's amazing defensively. He's amazing in terms of his energy that he brings to the team. He moves the team forward. He can carry the ball. And he's got a shot on him. On him, right? And also, you have to know that he wants to come to Manchester United. One of the reasons why his form has dropped so far this season is simply because they didn't get the signature move to Manchester United that he wanted in the season. So Baleba for me would be on the forefront of the midfielders we get this summer. And I think he's not going to cost us 100 million like it would cost us this last summer. I think that because of his performance at Brighton and also because of the leverage I think that we have over Brighton with Baleba, I think it's going to cost us maybe 70 million to get Baleba over. Maybe 70, maybe 60 million, I think. And so for me, I don't think that's too much I think we go for Baleba. We leave Anderson on the side. Another player I think that I've seen, which is for me is mind-blowing. I don't understand why not more people are talking about João Gomez at Wolves. That guy is amazing. He's exactly what we need in the number 6 in the holding midfielder. He is mobile, right? He's good on the ball. He can pass the ball. He's press resistant. He reads the game so well. He's like sort of like a budget Kante. I'm not saying he's on the level of Kante, right? Of N'Golo Kante, but he is excellent as a midfielder. And so for me, I don't know why we're not going for João Gomez. I don't know why not more people or more pundits are talking about João Gomez. I know he's not English, so it's not sexy to want him to come on. But I think he's a good player that we should buy. For me, I saw him when Wolves played against Liverpool, when Wolves beat Liverpool, right? I saw how he bossed that midfield, man. He bossed that midfield. Like Gravenberch and McAllister didn't know what was going on. They were just chasing his tail the entire time. João Gomez, I think he is the answer to our prayers at Manchester United. And I would love for him to come. Another guy is Fernandes. Fernandes who's at West Ham. He literally runs the game for West Ham. He's a game dictator. He's a perfect number 8 for us, right? To fill in there. So for me, if I could choose, I would have Baleba, I would have João Gomez, and I would have Fernandes coming in the summer, those 3. And because Wolves are going to get relegated, because West Ham are in relegation danger, they might not get relegated, but if they do, again, those are 2 players that we can buy on the cheap. It's not going to cost us 100 million, 200 million, 150 million to get them, right? And because they're not English, it also brings down the cost for us, right? Whereas in Water is going to cost us 70, 80 million to get. Baleba is going to be expensive, but, I think he wants to come to Manchester United. He's got options. So, it brings us to Bruno Fernandes, the Brazilian. The guy was recommended by Casemiro. He's going to cost us an arm and leg. He's the captain of Newcastle. There's no chance he's going to come to United. I mean, and even if he does, he's going to have to be one of those ridiculous prices of like 135 million, 140 million pounds, because he's just not going to come. He's 28 years old, by the way, as well. So he's not in the age profile that Ineos has promised us they're going to get. So he's old. Not old, he's 28. 28 is not really old, but he's too old. He's the captain of Newcastle. it's going to be a battle to get him. And does he even want to come? The fact that Casemiro said that means that he does probably have some interest in coming. But then again, he's always injured. He gets injured quite often, doesn't he, as well, Bruno Fernandes? And then what does he do that's excellent? That's the question that I have to ask. What does he do that is excellent? Is he, what does he do that is excellent? I think that he's a generic player. He's an all-round player. He does well at everything, but he's not excellent in one field, right? And then you got Tonali, right? Tonali is 26, 25, so he's a bit younger than Gremesh, right? But again, Paul Scholes is in love with Tonali. He thinks he's the best player in the Premiership right now. But, for me, Tonali, no, he's going to be quite expensive as well. It's going to cost you 80, 70 million. So that means that, fine, you get Tonali. Who else can you get? Maybe you can get one more midfielder, but you won't be able to break the bank for them, which means that other areas in the field will not be sort of like a field. So for me, I would break the bank to get Baleba there because I think he solves our problems in terms of energy, running, covering the ground, carrying the ball forward. Look, Kobe Mainoo is good. Kobe Mainoo is the future for the club, right? But let's be honest, the two flaws that Kobe Mainoo has. Number one, he walks too many times. He goes on the walkabout. He's trying to conserve energy. I don't know why. And he's a young player. He should be running more. Number two, also in terms of his defensive nous, he's not quite up to the standard that the Balebas or the Andersons or the Whartons are up to, right? His strength is in that he's a good passer of the ball. He connects the ball. He runs the team moving forward. But he's going to have to develop a pass that's further than just 2 meters or 3 meters or 5 meters. He's going to have to develop a pass further. And also in terms of carrying the ball, he's not really a powerful runner with the ball. He's more of a finesse player, Kobe Mainoo. So he's a good addition. He's a good piece of the jigsaw puzzle, right? But then you do need someone who can move the ball, who can run with the ball, who's a powerful midfielder, and that's where Baleba comes in. So you break the bank for Baleba, 70, 80 million pounds, whatever. Baleba you get. And then you get João Gomez. João Gomez is not going to cost us a lot of money. And he can sit in behind Kobe Mainoo, Baleba, whomever you get in front, right? And then Fernandes as well can be a substitute, can be a squad player for the likes of Kobe Mainoo or whomever is in that midfield player. Because you're going to need squad players, right? Because next season we're going to be in the FA Cup, we're going to be in the League Cup, we're going to be in the Champions League, and, we're going to be hopefully challenging for the league or at least being in the top four, right? So in other words, we're going to need loads of players. And Manchester United with our injury problems, it becomes an issue, right? And so I wouldn't break the bank for $1 billion midfielders. I would really just go for Baleba, break the bank, and then I would go bargain-based hunting. I mean, their players are going to be available. I mean, Tottenham, for instance, there's Sarr, there's Bissouma, there's Bentancur, and if Tottenham get relegated in the way that we think they're going to get relegated, you never know. So that's my thoughts on that topic. Now, finally, is there any chance for the Champions League losers like Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City, right, for them to get back into the Champions League tie? Now, let's start with Tottenham. No. Zero chance, nada, zero, nothing. I think they might as well just play a weekend side. They might as well just play their youngsters. I mean, what's the point? What is the actual point? They're 3-0 behind, basically, against Atletico Madrid, the best defensive team in the Champions League, besides Arsenal probably. They're the best defensive team, so that's not going to happen. And then number two, you've got Chelsea. Chelsea, can they make it back into the Champions League against PSG? Again, no. PSG is too experienced. I think if it was a 2-goal cushion, maybe they could have done it, but I think no, right? And then finally, you got Man City. Man City, again, I don't think that they have the legs to be able to compete with the Real Madrid youngsters, right? Real Madrid were very clever in what they did. They knew exactly where the weakness in Man City was, in the fact that they don't have midfielders with a lot of legs in them, right? And so they just picked youngsters, 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds in the team, and they just said, look, run, press, and harass this Man City midfield. And you know that in the second half, Rodri, Bernardo Silva will be tired, it'll be time to sub them off, right? So I think Man City have got little to no chance. The team that I have the highest hope for, to be quite honest with you, is Newcastle. Newcastle have a real opportunity to upset Barcelona. They really do, right? And if I'm telling you right now, I'm going to put some money on Newcastle to actually beat Barcelona, because the way Barcelona plays perfectly into Newcastle's mode of playing. Eddie Howe loves to sit back, organize his team, and then counterattack. He loves it, right? With the speedsters of Gordon, Barnes, Ilanga, and those speedsters, Willock, those guys that are just full of speed, right? That's what he wants to do. He wants just to pass the ball to them, they run. And I think Barcelona's defense are going to be susceptible to them, right, in the second leg. And so I'm telling you right now, Newcastle is going to beat Barcelona. Put money on it. I'm telling you right now. Okay, of course, disclaimer, look, your money, your result, your situation. But I'm telling you right now that Newcastle are going to beat Barcelona. I am almost certain of it, right? We'll be talking about this on Thursday, and I'm telling you, I'll be right. I think Arsenal will 100% win their title against their second leg against Bayer Leverkusen. I think they're the better team. They're more equipped. They will definitely beat Bayer Leverkusen. And then I think Liverpool, of course, at Anfield, although Liverpool have been poor, but this is Slot's last hurrah, his last chance to salvage his job, right? He has to do something. And so I think Liverpool will be fired up. Salah's probably Salah's last season at Liverpool. I think he'll be fired up, right? There'll be lots of energy. They and Galatasaray are awful away. They are a terrible away team, right? So I don't think that anything's gonna happen there. So I think that in the second leg, there's Tottenham, there's Newcastle, there's Arsenal, there's Chelsea, there's Man City, right? Am I missing someone? Okay. I think out of those teams, I think Man City, Chelsea, and Tottenham are out. I think Liverpool, Arsenal, and Newcastle will go through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. That's where my money is. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being on my first solo stream ever. Just working out the kinks. Things will improve definitely. But thank you so much for watching. For sure, Jonathan, João Gomez is clutch. He is deep. So I'll be heading off now. Same time tomorrow, 8:30. Please stay tuned. And if you can, please like and subscribe, right? And watch out for the videos that will be coming out later on in the week. So thank you so much for watching, guys. This is African Sports Guy signing out.